Are you overwhelmed with the life experiences to an extent that you feel like you need to take away your life? Or you want God to come and take away your life? Stay tuned as we will be sharing the message from God Himself. For the new subscribers, thank you so much for subscribing to this channel. I don't take that for granted. I am so much grateful, and may the mercy, the grace of the Lord locate you from wherever you are. And the ones who had subscribed to my channel, thank you so much for being a family. And I believe that the Lord will bless us together as we will be walking and believing in Him in this journey. Proverbs chapter 13 verses 12. Proverbs 13:12. Hope deferred maketh the heart sick, but when the desire cometh, it is a tree of life. In today's video, I want to talk about seasons in our lives that we've branded into disappointments. There are some seasons that I've undergone in my life, and when I was experiencing those seasons, I branded them as disappointments. I looked at them and I said that I'm disappointed with life. I feel I'm discouraged. So many things are happening. Looking at my life today, I still mention and call them as disappointments. But the biggest question that you need to ask, or I need to ask myself, is this: does God really call those seasons disappointments? 1 Kings chapter 19 verse 1, the whole chapter, but I just want to go through it very fast. I'll be skipping some things as I read some. So I want to start from verse 1. King Ahab told his wife Jezebel everything that Elijah had done, and how he had put all the prophets of Baal to death. Remember, the Lord told Elijah to go and now pray so that the heavens would be opened. After Elijah had prophesied about the drought, and it took 40 days and there was drought, and then now the Lord sent him back to go and pray so that the drought would come to an end. So a sacrifice was to be made. So Elijah called out the Baal prophets and told them that we are going to perform, or we are going to make sacrifices to our gods. I will do to my God, then you have also to do to your God, and then we will see, will consume the sacrifice without lighting fire. So the Baal prophets did their miracles. They cried out, they cut themselves, but nothing happened. So when Elijah prayed, the Lord sent fire from heaven and consumed the entire sacrifice, the wood, and even the stones. The stones became very, very hot, and the water that had been poured in the altar dried up. So the instruction that Elijah gave afterwards, it was that the prophets of Baal were to be killed, of which the people did the same. There were 450 prophets and they were all killed. Now after this had happened, now the king goes back to the wife. That is, Ahab went back to the wife. This way I'm starting from 19 verse 1. And the King Ahab told his wife Jezebel everything that Elijah had done, and how he had put all the prophets of Baal to death. 2. She sent a message to Elijah: may the God strike me dead if by this time tomorrow I don't do the same thing to you that you did to the prophets. 3. Elijah was afraid. The season has come into his life. Another season is here in life. So he has done exactly what the Lord had told him, and his life now is in danger. The wife, that is Jezebel, the wife to Ahab, is now on his neck and wants to kill him, just as he did to the prophets. Elijah was afraid and he fled for his life. He took his servant and went to Beersheba in Judah. Leaving the servant there, Elijah walked a whole day in the wilderness. He stopped and sat down in the shade of a tree and wished he would die. A season in life that we don't really understand, yet we serve a living God. We go through certain things that we can't even comprehend, we can't even explain, we can't even sit and endure. Let me continue. It's too much, Lord. Many a times I've cried this, or I've prayed this prayer, I've said this prayer in my life. When I saw myself going through some challenges, I went to the Lord and told him, Lord, it is that let the mercy of God indeed locate me, strengthen me in the season that I am going through. So when Elijah heard the voice, he covered his face with a cloak and went out and stood in the entrance of the cave. And a voice said to him, Elijah, what are you doing here? The voice is calling out to you in that challenge, at that point where you have reached. The voice is trying to locate you, calling you out. Are you ready to listen to the voice? Are you ready to answer to the voice? Because Elijah was looking at it. Indeed, he had served the Lord. But the people who were against the Lord were now out to destroy and to kill him. Then the Lord gives him another instruction in 15. The Lord said, return to the wilderness in Damascus, then enter the city, anoint. How sweet this is. Look at this. Elijah is looking at his season and he wants the Lord to destroy him. Yet the Lord is preparing him for something great. The Lord was preparing him to anoint a king. The Lord was preparing him to anoint someone who was going to take over after him. My friends, when we carry disappointments, is only we call the season something that the Lord, or something different from what the Lord calls it, because every experience carries a purpose. And when you do not understand the meaning behind your experience, that is the time you start calling it, or you call it disappointments. And we complain and tell God that we are disappointed. Reason being, we never understand the point about it. What if Elijah had ran away and killed himself? Who would have anointed the king? Who would have appointed the person who was going to take over after him? Your season is preparing you for something great. Hold on to it, for it is going to be a testimony to someone who is going to be saved. For this message you hear from the Lord, make sure you use it to save yourself and to save the people around you. May the peace and the mercy of the Lord locate you from wherever you are. Until we meet in my next video, bye-bye.